Hey, this is Tom at Talon Guitar Works. I'm an OEM builder and I'm a repair facility in Southwest Florida. And today I want to talk to you about fall away. Do you need it? If you're a beginner or intermediate guitar player and you're not playing on that upper register frets, you don't need it. If you are an intermediate to advanced guitar player where you are playing the upper registers with leads or shredding or whatever you're doing, yes, you need it. Why do you need it? The first thing is the guitar neck is controlled by this truss rod. Now I've got a couple turns on this truss rod. You can see that the gap in the center is much greater than the gap at the ends. Now where your guitar meets that neck pocket, where your neck meets the neck pocket, this area generally stays pretty flat and unaffected by the truss rod. Now I just showed you where the truss rod, most of the effect happens up here, right? Well, if you have relief with a low action in your guitar neck, you can have what people call the ski slope or the ramp or the hump down here, and it's usually from the 12th fret and below. And that will make the guitar harder to play down there, as you're going to get some buzzing going on, you're not going to get your full bends, a full step bend, and other things. So guitar companies do put that ramp in there on their higher end guitars, or the fall away. Now how do you achieve the fall away? You see I've got the neck taped off right now, and the first thing I did was I put my little neck tool on here out of StewMac, and I made sure that the neck was completely flat, that it wasn't dipping down near the headstock, that it was just flat. I couldn't get any light to come underneath it. That's where you want your neck set when you're going to do a fret level dress. The next thing I did was I taped off the guitar neck to protect the fretboard, and I marked the 5th fret. Now what I'm going to do with the 5th fret is I'm going to take 10 to 12 pieces of tape and I'm going to go right over the top of the 5th fret. There's one. What this is going to do is build up this area for my sanding beam to ride on. Now I know somebody's thinking right now, well, if your sanding beam's riding on that, isn't it sanding through the tape? Well, no, it's not. What I've got is, this is my full side of the sanding beam. This is what I'm going to use after I do the fall away. This short portion is what I'm going to use for the fall away and the fall away only. Now if you look at this from the side angle, you can see how that's ramped that up and how that's going to take a ramping down in this area to make these frets fall away and make it easier to play when you're doing your runs. So the next thing I'm going to do is mark all the frets in that range with black Sharpie. Now I just watched 2 of my favorite guitar channels on YouTube, and both of them seem to cover fall away and kind of poo-poo it right away. They didn't need it. And I thought, well, maybe it's a regional thing, because down here in Southwest Florida, our average humidity is about 70%, and they're both in areas where if they see 40%, they're doing good. So it's got nothing to do with humidity. It also has nothing to do with, on acoustic guitars, with sound box distortion from neck string tension. That's not it. What it is if the guitar's got a truss rod in it, the truss rod has no impact on that area, or not enough to make the string higher than that next fret that's not impacted. And somewhere down here it will be impacted. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand the bottom of these frets, and I'm going to see how much material is coming off from time to time. And I want the material to come off evenly on all frets. And I'm going to look for those black lines I put on there to disappear. Okay, I've got most of the black lines off now. You see where the material is mostly down here toward the end. I'm going to work it a little bit more, and you notice I put a line up here where the bar is rubbing on it, but there's no sandpaper there, so it's not going to sand through. So I've got a little bit more sanding on this. Now once I finish this fall away, I'll take the 10 layers of tape off that I put on there, and I'll do the rest of the fretboard. And I'll do that with the full side, and I'll also watch for where the material is building up and make sure that I'm taking it off equally. Then I'll crown the frets. I'll sand with 600, 800 grit paper to get the striations from the crowning out of the fret, and then I'll buff it with some buffing compound, shine the frets up real nice. And that's going to give you the fall away, and that's all it really takes. And this is probably 90% done right now. I'm going to finish it off camera because watching me sand is probably boring as watching paint dry. But that's what the fall away is. That's what the fall away does. And you know, the Plek machines everybody cheers about, they do fall away. No kidding. No fooling. If you get your guitar Plek, you're going to get a fall away on your Plek. So that's what that's all about. This is Tom at Talon Guitar Works. Hope you're having a great weekend. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're still an unpaid channel, but who cares? It'd be nice to be a paid channel, but we're unpaid. So take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.